Hey guys, we're here at Karl Kustoms. We wanted to sit down with Ed Birmingham. He's our painter here. He's been with Karl for a really long time. We just wanted to get some insight from him, talk about a little bit about what he does, and the things he's done in his past, and what kind of things he can offer you. So Ed, how long have you been with Karl? Can you kind of explain how it all came together?
I've been here for almost 12 years now. I started off painting out of my own business, doing things for Karl on the side. Airbrush, pinstriping work, helmets, covers and stuff like that. Whenever they needed something custom painted, I custom painted it. And about 12 years ago, came down to see if they needed a full-time painter, and they did. So I pretty much taught myself everything. You know, I bought an airbrush before I knew how to use one. And then I sat down and learned how to use it. I do a lot of things wrong with it until I got something right. That's the biggest thing in custom painting is you learn a lot more from your mistakes than things you do right. Some of your mistakes are custom effects that people all over do just because it's an easy effect but some of those mistakes are somebody leaned their shirt into paint and all of a sudden you got texturized paint. You know, all those things can be cool. I'm a real particular person, so I have to have things a lot right. So if I do something wrong, I don't blame it on the product or whatever. I want to know what I did wrong so I don't do it again.
Okay, and how long have you kind of been into cars and then also motorcycles?
Yeah, my dad used to race stock cars in the 60s, so I've always been into cars. Our family's always been into cars. We always had a car to restore in the garage or something to play with. When I got older, I went to college, got a degree in commercial art, went to work for Meredith, and I decided I wanted to play around with some cars and do some paintwork stuff on the side. Ended up painting some helmets for a friend that did motocross racing. He did some more, we did some more. Pretty soon I was painting helmets every night and every weekend. And I had to decide whether I was going to do that full time or keep my job downtown, and sitting down on a computer all day didn't seem to be too exciting to me. So I quit my good job downtown and started my own business, and my nickname's Ed Head. And that's how it started because we'd be at races and they would say, well, which one did you paint? And I said, well, that's one of Ed's heads, that's one of Ed's heads, and now the name's stuck for 28, 27 years now. After I did probably close to 80 to 100 helmets, then the motorcycle guys started to see, they wanted some of that same art on their bikes. The bike community was getting big and the custom thing was going off wild, so I was painting bikes 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day, and that got me a lot of notoriety in different shows and different circuits and stuff like that. I painted the Biker Build-Off winner at Sturgis. Every show that's been around, the Donnie Smith Show winner, Rat's Hole in Florida. I've probably painted close to 300 or 400 bikes. I've been on numerous magazines, and then some of the industry people started to notice that I was around everywhere and I was in all the magazines and everything. So I like to say I used to be famous. They would fly me out to Las Vegas or Salt Lake City, put on an airbrush clinic or help with a painting clinic or something that was going on that was paint. So Wada or House of Color or somebody like that would fly me around to different places just to help teach other people coming up in the industry.
Now, you can paint cars, obviously, just, you know, full top to bottom, but are there any type of specialties you have? I mean, I've seen you airbrush stuff. What do you like to do, and what are kind of your specialties?
Since I come from a commercial art background, I can do complete drawings, mock-ups for the cars. I can do Photoshop work to add art and graphics to the car before it ever gets painted to see if you like it, to get things okayed. I can change colors on cars if you have pictures of them, stuff like that, all on the computer. So that helps a lot for people that can't really visualize it. Sometimes they just need to see something. And in here, I can do the full range of custom painting, from pinstriping to airbrush to graphics, lettering. Anything has to do with paint, I can do it. So it's top to bottom, inside out.
So if somebody brought a car in here and just said, go have fun with it, what would you gravitate towards doing?
I like to keep things a little bit on the mellow side. I don't go too wild with things. So I like to feel people out. I'll ask them, what colors do you like? What themes do you like? And I'll ask them, what don't you like? Because whatever I pop in my head is probably going to be what they don't like. So out of that, I'll sit down and I'll come up with something that I'll give them some ideas of what I think is cool, and we'll go from there. And 9 times out of 10, they say, love it, let's just do it.
Okay, and like you said, you kind of painted all sorts of different things for all sorts of different people. Now, when you came to Karl's, you started working with some of Karl's cars, and then obviously you see his expectations of, you know, what he wants done. What's kind of different that you've seen for painting a car for Karl or painting a car for Karl's business as opposed to maybe somewhere else? What do we do different than others?
They're willing to go the extra mile here. It may take a little bit longer or cost a little bit more, but the car is gorgeous. I mean, when it's done, underside, topside, bottom, everything is really, really nice. Other places, the places that you can't see, they can kind of let things go. Here we don't do that. Here we want to make sure it's right. We'll strip it all the way down so we can guarantee it from the bare metal all the way up. There are some people that have had some accidents or something on their customer cars that we will finish their cars that they have just to help them out. So it's not all complete customs. We do everything from street rods to Ford Focus or whatever somebody wants done. We've painted Lamborghini Countachs, Bentley Continental Speeds, you know, all the way up through everything else under the sun.
And you kind of touched on it, but when most people bring their vehicles here to Karl Kustoms, what are we doing here mostly for the paint and body work? What are you seeing most people come in for?
Most is new paint. I think the paint's tired and it looks like it's aged. They just want to bring it back to, most of the time it's original. We don't do a whole lot of super custom stuff on it. We get a play every once in a while. But most of the time it's, let's make it look like it did before. So we'll bring it back up past the look new stage. So it'll be a full show car, but it won't have any texture on it, won't have any dust in it. We sand and buff everything out. We'll do all the door jams, all the trunk jams, all the edges. If they do a color change, you'll never know what color it was before. So pull all the weather seals. It's a pretty involved process. Sometimes we take them off the frame. If they don't want it that involved, we don't do that involved. It just all depends on the customer.
Okay. And kind of wrapping things up a little bit, what's some advice you'd give to somebody that's contemplating bringing their vehicle in to have some paint and body work done? What's some things that they should kind of think through and maybe bring to the table when they meet with you guys?
There are some things, especially on paint, that can kind of snowball. They need to understand that if their car's been painted before or been painted multiple times before, they're going to have to incur the cost of stripping it down. That may be something they want to do themselves and bring it to us in bare metal. We don't do our own stripping for the most part here, so that could kind of help out. They need to know also what they want in the end. Do they want a rider? Do they want a driver? Do they want a show car? They want something way over the top. A lot of people come in and they don't have any idea what they want. So we have to kind of pry it out of them, kind of ask them lots of questions to see where they want to go with it.
All right, we want to thank Ed for taking the time to talk with us today, giving us a little more insight on the things he does, his background. I've been here with Karl for 11 years, a little less than Ed. But one thing that I've seen is, the cars are perfect from top to bottom. When they leave here, we've got Rick underneath scrubbing that thing, polishing it underneath the bottom side where some people will never see, but that's what Karl expects. He expects it to be perfect underneath like it is on top. So if you have any interest in any body and paint work, make sure you get a hold of us here. Come see Ed if you got some ideas. We'll make sure to get you taken care of.